So now, yesterday what we have seen, we just discussed the overview of BI, right? So what is the functionality of the BI consultant? So what you are going to perform as a BI consultant, right? So now, today we are going to discuss in depth of this overview. So here you will understand what is the things that you are going to learn, what is the, how exactly BI functions. Okay, what are the things that we are going to learn in the training session, okay? So now, the first thing what we discussed in the overview is like modeling part, no? So in the modeling part, basically what we said, we are going to develop the, we said we are going to develop what? The target, okay? Now, see in this modeling, so how exactly your basic modeling starts is, here we are going to start with something called as, your modeling starts with something called as info objects. You are going to start with defining something called as info. So what is this info object is? So normally, any application that you consider, how we say like data is storing in the form of a table, right? In the database, data is storing in the form of a, so even in R3 also data stores in the form of what? So a table is basically a two-dimensional structure. It has rows and columns, and every table will be having what? Let us say number, address, name. So what are these header of these tables now? These are called as fields, right? What is the terminology called? Fields or entities. So the header of the table defines the fields. What exactly a field is? Field defines physical existence of an object. So customer number field, let us say defining the existence of C1. So like that, the same field, when it comes to BI, we don't call it as a field, we just call it as a info object. Just we are using a different name just to distinguish between the applications which we are using there. So whenever I say field, that's nothing but I am speaking about R3. Whenever we say info object, that's nothing but you are speaking about BI. So now what is exactly info object is nothing but what? Fields. So how do you develop no database in BI? By defining the info objects. Okay, so the basic modeling starts with defining of the info objects. Okay, now let us say your source has now, imagine four fields are there. That means we are going to create, how many info objects you are going to create now? 4 info objects into BI. So first you have to understand how many info objects that you need to start defining the modeling part. Clear now? So no difference, is just only a field. So normally in ABAP you will, why you define a field? By defining domain, data type, all those things will define, right? Data element and domain. So here no need to define any data elements or domains. It's automatically taken, just you have to specify what is the data type and its length. Okay? Right. So what is info object is clear? The first basic modeling starts with defining of a info objects. Then next you are going to see across something called and modeling. So next part is what? Info cubes. So info cubes are basically multi-dimensional models. Info cubes are basically multi-dimensional models. So what is the main advantage is to analyze the data in multiple angles. The way you look at the data is so front end we say cube, but internally in the database it refers to tables only. Front end what I am going to do, I am going to create a cube only, but internally in the database it generates the tables only. Right? So but the table will be surrounded with multiple tables. That is what? Multi-dimensional model. Okay? So that is what, so next what you are going to come across is something called as info cubes. Okay? Then next under modeling, what is it? Is data store objects, DSOs. Next, what you are going to come across is DSO, data store objects. Okay, DSOs are like basically again like a flat table, two-dimensional table, two-dimensional model. So just like how data is storing in R3, same way you want to store it in BI also, then you will be using what? DSOs, data store objects. Then next is called multi-providers. Next is called as multi-providers. So these multi-providers are nothing but like, what are the view? You know the concept of view in a database? Like it's an imaginary table. Now whenever you want to represent the data by combining two or more tables, you will be creating a same way. Now let us say my data is in 2 cubes. Now I want a report, I want a query by combining the data from 2 cubes. On these 2 cubes, what you are going to create? Multi-provider. So nothing but in the database it is going to generate what? View only. So these are all brackets. What I am putting is database terminology. So this is BI terminology. Okay. So when you create a multi-provider, what happens in the database is nothing but again a view will be generated. So next what is that we are going to see under modeling is info sets. So info sets are nothing but your joins. So joins is also same concept as view. So there is no physical storage of data in multi-provider or info set. It's just a virtual. It will be holding the data at the runtime. So same thing join also. Whenever you want to combine the data by combining 2 or more cubes, then we'll be using what? Joins. But what is the basic difference between view and join is? View is going to bring a union of data. View is going to bring union of data, whereas joins brings what? Intersection of data. That is common data. So now let us say, suppose, imagine if your cube 1 has data, suppose materials, imagine I have some data in cube, data what? Now imagine second cube has data, let us have sales of some materials, let us say M5 to M15. So whenever you want to create a view or join, what is the condition? Both should have a common object. Okay. Now if you create a multi-provider on these 2 cubes, what you can see in the output is M1 to M15 union. But same thing if you create an info set, you can see in the output only M5 to M10 intersection. What is the common data which is available in? Clear now? So that is what. So under modeling part, so basically what you are going to see is cubes, excuse me, then DSOs, multi-providers and info sets. Okay? Understand now? So these two are virtual. There is no physical storage of data in the multi-provider. Your actual data residing in where? One is info object, other one is cubes, other one is DSOs. Right? So now these 4 objects are called as, what is it called as? Info providers. So these 4 objects, cube, DSO, multi-provider and info sets, these are called as what? Info. So what are these info providers here? Info providers means, okay, objects which sends data for reporting. Are called as are called as what? Info. They are information providers for reporting purpose. That means, so on these four objects, we can start creating a queries. These are the input for your queries, to building a query. Right, so what is info provider is like the objects which sends data for reporting are called as info providers. Right? Yes. Any doubts with this modeling part? Yes. No, multi-provider is made up of info cubes or DSOs. Multi-provider, while building a multi-provider, you can combine info object, DSO, cube, whatever you want. DSO is like a flat two-dimensional. Now, you are storing data in R3, how it's in a two-dimensional structure? Same way I want to store the data in BI also. It's called as a detail level. That and all you'll be understanding later. So cube is denormalized. Now R3 your data is storing in how many tables? Let us say normalized, right? So one transaction will not be stored in one single table there. Now your data, let us say imagine sales order. So now sales order receipts is in one table. You have header table, item table, schedule line table. This you will understand later. Okay. So like that, you have data in multiple tables there, right? One transaction, yes? Yes? That's what I'm saying you now. That's what I'm saying you. Listen now first. So, now, just come to R3 part. R3 what happens? Your data will not be stored in one table, right? So let us say, imagine your data is storing in multiple tables. So let us say example sales order. So sales order data resides in what? Sales order header, sales order item, sales order schedule line. Okay? So like this now it is in multiple tables, normalized manner. Now I want to extract this data to the BI. So what you will be doing into BI? Let us say I am extracting into one info cube. So what happens when you are extracting into the cube, data from these three sources will put it into, let us say, one cube. That is denormalized now, cube. So that means on a cube, it is aggregated level of reporting. That means you are combining entire transaction and you are developing a report. But when it comes to DSOs, again what happens? Okay, when it comes to DSOs, so again for this source, there will be one DSO where I will store. Just like again DSOs are like normalized. Let us say DSO2. Then suppose again at DSO3. So here your sales order header data will store. Here sales order item data will store. Here schedule line will store. Now suppose if you're developing a report on DSO, it's nothing but again detail level of reporting, like how you are developing a report in R3. Okay? This you will understand later sessions. They are already in the SAP. Okay, don't worry. Understand the logic now? What is the difference between DSO and cube? Okay, so that is multi-dimensional. This is two-dimensional. So it's just like a flat table. Okay, now clear now modeling part. What is the things that you are going to learn under modeling? So for you, right now just understand what is cube, what is DSO, its functionality. The later on classes you will be understand. Fine? We'll go further. So next is, what is that now? Second task as I said, extraction. So in the extraction part, what you are going to do, basically, you are developing a link from source to target, right? So from where does the link and you need to start extracting the data. Right. So when you start now extraction, so in the extraction part, the first part what you are going to see is called data source. The first thing what you are going to deal is called as data. Now what is this data source is? Now I have entire data in the source. Let us say, imagine R3 itself. In R3 itself I have data related to sales, production, purchase, inventory, finance, HR, lot of sub applications. Now do I extract entire data from R3? Only I require only, let us say, sales data. Now what is your data source now? It is sales. Again, in sales, instead as I said, you have data related to inquiry, quotation, order, delivery, and I don't want entire data from sales. Let us say I want only order data. That means out of entire your source, what particular data that you want to extract, that is nothing but your data source. So data source is typically a structure. It's not any table as such. It's a the structure means it will not be holding any data physically. So structure will be like a channel. In the database, I need to move the data from one location to another location. So how it move? Through a channel called as a structure. Let us say, like example, let us say a water pipe. Now I want to transfer the water, let us say from the tap to a storage area. So what I am doing? We use a channel now, a medium. So now what happens? Water through this pipe will transfer and comes into the storage area, and at the end, is there any water storing in that pipe? The same way in the database, to move the data from one location to another location, you need a medium called as a structure. So that structure is nothing but what? A data source. So basically what it defines? What data has to be extracted from the source. Clear now? It's a structure. It is going to define what data has to be extracted from the source. Clear? What is data source now? Right. So next, you will come across something called PSA, called as persistent staging area. Persistent staging. So again, this PSA is also like a table. It's also a two-dimensional table. Okay. So what is the main use of PSA is? Now suppose when I am extracting data from source, let us say from R3. Now imagine while extraction some error is happening. Let us say while creating the info objects in B, I imagine I will have some checkbox called whether to allow lowercase or not. Imagine I didn't select lowercase. That means I am saying don't allow lowercase value while loading that. But imagine in source you have some lowercase values. Now while loading, will it allow? So let us say there is some special character. So BA does not support a special character. That means so while loading, what happens? Any error comes, data will not be updated into the target. So what you have to do? I need to rectify the source. Again I need to start extracting. But do we have access to source to edit the data? Can I log on to R3? Can I change the data as a BA consultant? I never have access to source to edit the data. That's why what we are doing before putting our data into the target in BI, so first we are going to put our data into where? Into PSA table, staging purpose. Any error comes, your updation will be stopped where now? In the PSA itself. Now PSA is in BI system itself, so there I can rectify the data, I can start extracting again. Suppose, you know how is that now? So let us say the line below is your source. Okay, this is your source. So this is address, this is some name, and this is some phone number. Now, I want to extract this data to the BI side. So first what you will do? You will be developing one target, right? Then what you will do? I will be creating one, let us say data source. So PSI is automatically generated by system itself. You need not worry about that. So when I create a data source, automatically system generates what? A PSA table. This is for what? Staging purpose. That means before putting my data into, now how is that data is coming from source? First it will be coming to the PSA table. So any error is there, data will be coming up to PSA table. So you can rectify the data there in the, so it's a staging purpose. So this is for mainly for what? Error handling. And what you'll do, time to time, let us say every 15 days or 20 days, we are going to clean this PSA table. Understand? Because once data goes to the target, I may not require the, why? Basically because I will not have access to source system. So to stage that data into BI, that is what is your PSA. Clear? So what is that now main use now? PSA is staging purpose. So now we said ETL yesterday, extract, transform, and so extraction takes place through what? Data source. Okay? Clear now? Right. So next, after this you will come across something called transformations. And moreover, like PSA will be having a raw data. Raw data means same data what is there in the source, right? The same data will be there in the PSA. So transformations means how can we transform data from PSA to, yesterday I said we want to transform it according to the requirements. So now the transformations you can apply through what? Through the transformations, the changes. So to transform the data. So in transformations there will be different options will be there. So like, should I write some ABAP code and should I transform the data? That we call it as a routine. Or should I apply some constant value? Right? Should I do some mathematical calculations? So basically you'll get 6 types of transformations over there. So that and all in depth you are going to see when we go into that particular concept. So right now just understand what is the use of this transformations is to apply the changes while data is going from PSA to target. So PSA will have raw data, target will have transform data. So now transformations takes place through what? Transform changes takes place through transformations. Extraction takes place through data source. Source to here. From source you have to extract the data, no? So that is extracted by data source. So changes will be applied through transformations. So after applying the changes, it will be loading into target. ETL is placed, right? So extraction takes place through data source. Changes will be applied through transformations, and data will be loaded into target. Okay? Right. So next, what you are going to come across is called info packages. Info package. And one more option is there called DTP, data transfer process. So these two are the schedulers. These two are what? schedulers. Okay, these two are the. Now schedulers means now I have entire link is ready. I have entire channel is ready. Now I need to start loading. Let us say now I want extracting data from suppose a file. Now which file I want to load? Where do I specify that file name? In the info package. Or let us say I need to give some conditions. Let us say I have data now C1 to C100, but while loading I want to load only data from C1 to C10. Where do I give a condition? In the info package. And do I need to load it every 1 day or 1 hour or 1 week? So all this scheduling where do you do? In the info package. So when you use your info package, what happens is data will be coming from your source to staging place. Your data will come from what? Your source to, that is PSA. Okay, when I trigger my info package, data will be coming from where? From the source to PSA. So DTP is also a scheduler. When I use DTP, data will be coming from the staging place to target. Two schedulers actually. One is from source to staging area, another is from staging area to the target. Clear now? So now, your implementation time, what you will do, you will try to develop these info packages and so once they are ready, next time onwards only just loading. So in the support project, so these info packages and DTPs will be running. You will be just monitoring whether it is successfully running or not. Understand the logic now? So main time, implementation time, this task is only one time task, developing the link from source to. Because once it is ready, I need to extract the data every 1 day or 1 hour or 1 week according to your requirement. So why I need to extract is because source is a live system. Today I have extracted data, fine. Today data here and data in the target is same. But after today, some new business may happen. Again, this source may get updated the data or not. The data also need to extract it or not. For that reason, you will be extracting the data now. Extraction is not a one-time activity, it is a continuous activity. Right? And you will decide the time, every 1 hour or 1 day or 1 week, based upon what? Based upon the end user reporting requirement. Suppose end user wanted a report on this target daily once. Do I need to extract the date hourly report, daily report, weekly report, monthly report? Based upon that, your extraction will also be hourly load, daily load, yearly load, weekly load, monthly load, whatever it is. So that time intervals you set it in info package and DTP. Right? So, any doubts with this extraction part? Yes? From your side, online people? Fine. We'll go with next part now. Right. So next part is, what is that? Reporting part. See now, until this extraction it is same, one and the same. Now, what happens? Now suppose my client is using a reporting tool called Cognos. He says, I don't want reporting with your default reporting tool provided by SAP called Business Explorer. I want reporting with. So that means this BI will be integrated with Cognos. So reporting tool may be a different. It's client to client. He may suggest you what is the tool you want. So that BI can be implemented with. But extraction part is one and the same. But when it comes to reporting, it may vary from client to, but the default reporting tool provided by SAP is called Business Explorer. The default reporting tool provided by SAP is called as Business Explorer. That is BEX. In short, the SAP has acquired BO, Business Objects. What is going to do? This BEX will be replaced with Business Objects, and the default reporting tool is going to become Business Objects in the real future. But right now, as I said, my training will be also based on what? The default reporting tool is still is Business Explorer. So now what is that now? So for reporting, you are going to use an application called what? Business. So this Business Explorer is a combination of excuse me, 4 applications. Business Explorer is a suite of 4 applications. It comes as a suite of 4 applications. Out of 4, the first one being called Analyzer. The first one is being called as Analyzer. Okay. So using Analyzer, what we can do, we can represent the reports in the form of Excel sheet. So when you want to show your output in the form of Excel based, so then you can use what? Analyzer. So now if you can observe, see, start, programs, what is there here? Business Explorer. Actually one more will be there, Analyzer. So totally 4 applications. Right, so first one is like Analyzer. So what is that now? Analyzer main task is I can show the output in a Excel sheet. So if you open Analyzer also, it just looks like normal your Excel only, plus some add-ons will be there, plus some add-ons, macros, additional toolbars will be there, which will not be there in the normal Excel sheet. Right. So next, the important application is what? This is the one. Query Designer. The important application is Query Designer. So the main important out of box is what? Query. So using Query Designer, we can design the query according to requirements of end user. We can design the query according to the requirements of what? End user, and we can execute the query in browser. We can execute this query in so browser means it comes in a web page. Browser means what? It comes in a web page. So when I say designing the query, so no need of any statements, no need of any coding. So usually any queries you use SQL, right? But here everything is drag and drop options will be there. Just design the query. Internally SQL statements are automatically generated by system itself. You need not worry about the coding part. So in the RP, suppose you want to develop a report, how much code you write using a web? So let us say interactive report. So for interactive report, what will do? So lots of coding. So here no coding, not everything is menu driven options will be there. Just use those options and you can start designing the query. Understand? So what is main report query designer is? Designing the query according to requirement of end user, and you can execute it in a browser. So here, now what is the input now for query designer? Is, what is that called? Just we discussed earlier. What is that? Info. So the input for query designer is info provider. So that means what is info provider we seen here? These 4 things I said. So that means I can create a query on a cube or a DSO or a multi-provider or a info set. Now let us say I have designed a query using Query Designer, but this output I don't want to see it in a web page. I want to see it in an Excel sheet. I have designed a query using Query Designer, but this output I want to see it in a Excel sheet. Now what I'll do, so this query will be making as an input to my analyzer. So for an analyzer, What is the input now? One is query. Query designer is application name. Whatever the report you design using query designer, that is called as query. And one more is info provider. Can you now see the logic? So the main application is what now here? Query designer. These are all supporting applications for your query designer. So I am designing a query using query designer, but to show it in Excel sheet, I will make it as input to my analyzer. Understand what is analyzer and what is query designer? Right. So next, the third application is called report designer. You know crystal reports? Heard about crystal reports? What is a crystal report? Display some report. So I can display using query designer also, no? So what exactly a crystal report is? Suppose, imagine I have designed a report. I have designed a report query using query designer. Let us say my output is looked like this. Okay, suppose imagine some date, your order number, and some net value of the order. Some simple report I am showing. Okay, now what is my requirement? In this particular area of my output, I want to see the logo of the company. Now, this heading, what are you seeing? It should be bold. And this value should be, so end user will give you a clear layout, how you want. So let's say its value should be underlined. And this font should be Arial. Okay, and the length should be some 14. And let us say this particular area of my output, I want to see some red color. That means that basically what you are doing, you are formatting your output. So the way you want to represent your output, you are just format. So normally designer, if you execute, it will show you particular only simple, but I need to format this output. Now this formatted output is called as a crystal report. What is a crystal report is? The formatted output is called as a, so that crystal reports I can design using what? A report designer. Nothing. I am not changing any output or something. Just the way you are representing is changed. So you are formatting the look of the, so whenever we want to format the output of your query, we use, what we use? A report designer. So when you want to format your output, so this formatted output is called as, so concept name is crystal reports. Actually for that you have an application called also crystal report. So, but that crystal report has been acquired by Buo. Right, but for that to design crystal reports, what is the application we are using is report designer. So one the formatted output is called as what? Crystal report. So I can design crystal reports using what? The report designer. So now what is the input for report designer now? You are formatting the output of what? Queries. That means what are the queries that I have designed using query designer, that I will be making as an input to my report designer, so where you can format it and you can represent it. Listen. Now, sir. You know what is report designer? Right. So next is, what is it now? WAD. W-A-D. Okay, WAD is like web application designer. Web application. Now, what is that we have seen? This query designer we discussed. I can show the output in a browser, means a web page I said. So that will be a default web page. What is the browser that will open? It will be always one default. Now I don't want default web page. I need to see my output in my own designed web page. That means I need to design my own web page. So then what you'll do? You'll go with. So that means still customized. So like something like dashboards. So that means clear-cut representation for the end user however you want. So you design your own using what you can do. First is like we design the web page. If you know HTML code, you can write HTML code and you can design your own web page. If you know HTML, you can write HTML and you can develop your own. So if you know HTML, again drag and drop options will be available. HTML code is automatically generated by system itself. Now let us say, imagine I want to see output of two queries side by side. Query 1 and is it possible with query designer? Only one query I have designed, only that output you can represent. So now these things how you can do? So now let us say my requirement is like this. So now when I open my web page should look like this. Okay, so here in this particular area I want to see the output. So let us say something like a customer and revenue. Okay. Now let us say I have some customers like C1, C2, C3, some 100 customers are there something. Now below to this I want to have some drop down box. So below to this I want to have a drop down box. So once I click this drop down box, okay, once I click this drop down box, okay, so click it. Here it has to show values C1, C2, C3, what are the values that are available. Suppose in this drop down box, if I understand the logic, or let us say that this particular side I want to see some graph. So below to this graph, I need to have some radio buttons. Let us say like one is like pie, other one is like bar, other one is like chart. So suppose if I select here pie radio button, here it has to show the pie graph. According to this result what I am seeing, this has to be represented in the, that means like this what you are doing now, you are designing your own web page. Okay, so that designing the web page you can do using WAD. So then after this, what you have to do, you have to assign the input for the web page. Okay, assign the input for the. So now, as I said, suppose I want to see two queries side by side. I am saying my output should be like two tables, table 1 and table 2. I'll use, in WAD, you'll get something called web items. So let us say one web item I'm using is table. So I'll drag table and put two tables side by side. Now for table 1, it should be input should be query 1. For table 2, input should be query 2. That means what you have to do? You have to assign the input to the web page. That means this table, from which query it has to read the data. Now this drop down box, which info object it has to get the data from? Customer. Understand now? So this graph should get the data from this input 1. Like that. So what you have to do? Assign the input to the. So this is called actually, assigning the input to the web page is called as data binding. You have to perform then something called as data binding. So again, so what is the input for WAD is? So one is query, then next is info provider, and one more is called query view. Okay, what is this query view is? Right, I can design some small reports using Analyzer also. Using Analyzer also we can design some small reports. So when I design a report using Analyzer, so that will be called as what? Query view. Okay? Fine? You know? So that is what is your reporting tool, WAD. But out of this, the important application is what? Query designer. So these are all like, see, for all the things, input is what? Again, query only. Clear now? So any doubts with this part? Yes, online people? Clear? How about here? The person who are sitting with me? Is it clear? Right. So next is what we said? Performance tuning, right? So under performance tuning, so first you will be coming across with something called aggregates. Under performance tuning, what is that now? First you are going to come across something called. So this performance tuning concepts bit hard to understand right now. You have to, when I go with the exact, because once you understand all the modeling part, then only you can understand this. So aggregates are generally like basically a smaller cubes. I have a main cube. On this main cube, we are going to create some smaller cube so that it improves your query performance. Then we will be seeing something called as compression. Okay, these two aspects you cannot understand right now. Next, partitions. This you can understand. So general database concept, partitions. So what is the use of partitioning the table or something? So when you want to search for the data, instead of searching for entire table, it fetches only data from the same way when I execute a query, instead of searching entire cube, if I have partitions, it will be faster while searching for the data. Then you will get something called indexes. So indexes is just like arrangement of the records in the database with respect to pointers. Then next is like line item dimension. Next you will come across something called OLAP cache memory. Then the last what we are going to see is like BI accelerator index. Okay, these are the concepts that we are going to cover under performance tuning. So next last is like, as I said, broadcasting. So broadcasting is sending the reports to concerned end user. So broadcasting yesterday itself I discussed. What is that now? Like when to send, then how to send, then where to send. Okay, when to send is like the time factor. How to send is like the format, and where to send is the location. Clear now? So now you got still, what is the things that we are going to see, what is the things that we are going to learn? Any doubts with this part? Right. Now, so with this now, you can understand, see how exactly the BS functionality also, architecture I'll just represent. See now, this now what I have discussed is the entire, you can see in the architecture part. So now, how is that? See now, first is what? You can see ETL layer, extraction. So you are going to extract the data. So let us say this is what is your data warehouse. The line what you can see, this is your BI. So usually into BI, you are extracting the data now from maybe SAP systems or non-SAP systems. So you can see various sources. So like these are the interfaces. BAP is like interface between SAP and a BI and a non-SAP system. So this is file. XML is web-based application. Yesterday I said no, various sources. Then database connecting to the database. Then UD connect means universal data connectors, non-SAP systems. So now, once data is entering, first where it is coming now? That's what now, staging area. So then you are going to store it into DSO. This is actually, earlier version was called ODS or something. Then it will go and stores into cubes. So this is your warehouse where your data is residing. And this is like, what is that now? Schedule. I said info packages. Monitoring whether it is successfully running or not. So that is the scheduler. And using the data what I have in warehouse, what I am doing? BI services. With this data in the warehouse, what is that now? One thing as I said, analysis, reporting, and you will send this data for planning. So for reporting, what is the tool you are using now? Business Explorer. So on this you can see query analysis. You have BEX analyzer, BEX web. So this is analyzer. This is web-based, is like query designer. So using this Excel-based or web-based. Analyzer means Excel-based. All query designer, report designer or RAD, everything will show in a web page. So what I am doing, we are broadcasting it. Broadcasting it to where? To the portal, the web page. And what is that now? See, here you can see something called Open Hub service. That means what are the data that I have in BI? We are extract, as of now what we are discussing is extraction. So now let us say I want retraction. Retraction means from BI I need to pull the data to some other system, third party system. Or I want to what are the data that is there in the cube? I want to send it into some file. So now what does that say? So I can send it to SAP applications, non-SAP applications. It's a warehouse, no? From warehouse, a number of people will access that. So that is to send it to other applications is through open source estimation. So this is what is your architecture of BI. Clear now? This and all will come next. Yeah. Any doubts now for this part?